Good day and welcome to Let's Learn English and Literature Together with Mr. Williams. Today we'll be looking at the West Africa Examinational Council selected literature texts in a language arts for the Basic Education Certificate Examination (BECE) for 2026 to 2030. One of the selected literature texts is a Shakespearean drama or text titled The Tempest, written by William Shakespeare. Second of it is a novel titled The New Disease, written by Frederick Bobo James. Third of it is another novel titled Gumna's Children, written by Sheka Kuruma. The novels are optional. It's either you read The New Disease or you read The Gumna's Children. So the four BECE poems. One is titled The Rem. The Rem was written by Umar Farouk Sise. Second is titled How Soon Hath Time. How Soon Hath Time is written by John Milton. The third one is titled Create a New Seer. Create a New Seer is written by Elizabeth L.A. Kamara. The last one of the four is titled The Children of the Street. The Children of the Street is written by Chinedu Dike. Those are the WAEC selected books and poems to cover before the exam. For today's learning, we'll be looking at the first text, which is a Shakespearean text titled The Tempest. The Tempest is a dramatic comedy written by William Shakespeare. It tells the story of a duke or a king. We'll be using a king for better understanding. A king named Prosperous and his daughter Miranda living in an island, and also how they were betrayed. Prosperous was the original duke or king of Milan. He was betrayed by his own brother Antonio and Alonso, the king of Naples. Prosperous, being the king of Milan, leaves all political affairs to be controlled by his brother Antonio. Prosperous loved reading books, and mostly magical books. He spent more time reading than controlling his people. Antonio, on the other hand, has tasted the moral, honor, fame, and wealth that comes being a king or duke. He decided to be the real duke or king of Milan, but Prosperous was still alive. Antonio and Alonso, the king of Naples, decided to betray Prosperous by imprisoning him, and later that night they put him in a boat that is not too strong so that Prosperous and his 3-year-old daughter Miranda will die at sea. Prior to Antonio and Alonso's mission, a loyal servant to Alonso named Gonzalo secretly put food, warm cloth, and water into the boat that Antonio and Alonso had decided to put Prosperous and his daughter Miranda. Gonzalo also added some of Prosperous' books, knowing the Duke's love for his library. Wicked Antonio and Alonso pushed the boat that is carrying Prosperous and his daughter out to sea. Luckily, they did not die, Perhaps Prosperous' magic herbs. While the storm had ended, Prosperous saw an island in the sea ahead of him. He steered the boat to the island. Prosperous and his daughter were partly saved. On the island, no one seems to be living there, but it was good looking with plenty food, vegetable, and clean water. Prosperous proposed in his heart that he and his daughter will live there peacefully for as long as was necessary. Later that same day, Prosperous found out that there were fairies on the island. His knowledge in magic gave him power to put under control the strange creatures. The chief of the fairy, named Ariel, was imprisoned by an old wicked woman called Sycorax. What happened was, when Sycorax first came to the island, Ariel and other fairies refused to obey her, and Sycorax punished them by imprisoning all inside trees. And Ariel and other fairies were there for 12 years now, since the death of Sycorax. Prosperous freed Ariel from the tree, and Prosperous promised Ariel to free him totally after serving him. That means Ariel must serve him and his daughter. On the island, there was another creature in a cave called Caliban. Caliban was the half-mad son of Sycorax, who later was found by Prosperous in the island. And Prosperous promised Caliban freedom if only he will serve him faithfully. But Caliban was putting too many negative attitude, and Prosperous later turned him into his slave to bring water and wood. Caliban was now the slave for Prosperous and Miranda. For 12 years, Ariel and Caliban were working for Miranda and Prosperous. Miranda, after 12 years, was a beautiful and big girl. She had never seen a human being except her father. One day, there was a terrible storm. Miranda was watching the wild waves and heavy rain sweeping across the sea. She suddenly saw a ship, and people were crying for help from that ship. The ship contained Alonso, the king of Naples, Ferdinand, the king's son, Antonio, Prosperous' brother, and Sebastian, Alonso's brother. The king of Naples, Alonso, arranged for his daughter to marry a foreign king. So they hired the ship to carry them, but since the wedding was over, they are returning to Naples. Miranda, hearing the people crying for help, went to his father to tell him. But to her surprise, her father created the storm with the help of Ariel. But her father assured her that no one will be hurt. After a great battle for survival in the ship ended on the island. Ariel was commanded to take Ferdinand, the son of Alonso, to Prosperous, which he did using his magical song. He was not seen, but heard. All the people from the ship were confused. As Ferdinand was alone, he was confused as to his father might have drowned, and his father also was confused to his son might have drowned. The moment Ariel was leading Ferdinand to Prosperous, Miranda, for the first time seeing a different handsome man, she instantly fell in love with Ferdinand. Ferdinand, on the other hand, seeing Miranda, instantly fell in love with her. But at first, Ferdinand was thinking Miranda was a witch or a fairy that was singing the sweet song. On the other side of the island, Alonso, Antonio, and Sebastian were filled with fear and sorrow as Ariel kept disturbing them with lightning and thunder. Prosperous appeared before them in his magical coat. He felt pity for them as they suffered a lot. Upon them seeing Prosperous, they did not recognize him, but when he removed his magical coat, they saw it was him. They all begged his forgiveness and asked him to go back to Milan as the Duke of Milan. Finally, Ariel was totally free, and Ferdinand and Miranda got married. Prosperous was also crowned as the Duke of Milan. Thank you so much for watching. I hope this helps. And please don't forget to subscribe, give a like, give your comment, and also share to different people. Continue to follow for more. Our next learning is going to be on the book The New Disease. The New Disease.